Check, check, check. You guys hear me okay? What's up, man? I'm just still getting around. I didn't get home till late today. I would have been home for 20 minutes. I'm trying to warm up the Throjo here. I haven't practiced at all or anything. Okay, cool, good. How's everybody doing? I think I'll practice a few throws here. Hey, Deb. Hey, Don. Oh. A couple of those felt really good. A couple of them did not, but they stuck. A stick is a stick. And, you can't, especially in competition, you can't get points if you don't stick it. But there's a difference between a good stick and a bad stick. You want to be perpendicular all the time. So if you start over rotating or under rotating, you need to correct your technique a little bit. Sorry, everyone. I did not go live last week. Things just didn't work out. I wanted to do it on Thursday, and then I didn't do it on Thursday, and I was going to do it on Friday, and then something came up. So I apologize. I will be doing a live video every week. I am going to be doing these free knife throwing lessons, but I don't think they're going to be as frequent. Maybe once or twice a month, but I'm going to continue to do them for free. I think the topic of today is going to be no spin. I think someone asked me some questions about that last time I was live. Damn, can't believe how many people are watching. That's crazy. But let's, so no spin is the most difficult technique to teach. There's rotational, half spin, and no spin. And then there's also instinctive one spin, which is, kind of off on its own. I consider instinctive one spin and instinctive half spin about the same thing. But yes. So yeah, we got enough people in here watching right now, I think. So I guess I'll just jump right into it. Let me grab a little longer knife. I think it'll be easier to demonstrate what I'm talking about. And actually, this is the knife that I learned no spin with, so that'll help. Okay, so I'm just going to be teaching this from as if you guys don't know anything about no spin. I'm just going to teach that so people watch this back and they don't know anything about it. They can learn, and people that do know how to do no spin, maybe they can learn something that I say that might help them or whatever. So, okay. let's say I have a person, let's say that they were like some lost Indian tribe down in South America, and they don't know anything about throwing. They've never thrown a ball, they've never played sports, or anything like that. If I was to take a stick and put it in their hand, odds are they would know to instinctively hold one end and be like, okay, throw that, with this motion. They would automatically know to throw it like that, like a stick. So that's already inherently in us. Like, throwing is in our DNA. We are human beings. It was one of the first ways that we ever found out how to kill animals for food. So that's why knife throwing is fun. Everybody likes it. No one throws a knife and sticks it and they're like, oh, this sucks. No one says that ever. There's something in us that it feels good. And that feel-good feeling is what makes me keep coming back to it. But anyway, so yeah, they would hold on to one end and throw it like that, right? And that's instinctive for all of us, especially everybody here watching, modern people, because people see movies. They've seen knife throwing in movies, and knife throwing in movies is almost always, 99% of the time, they pick it up like this and they throw it as hard as they can and it spins. So when you give a knife to someone and you tell them not to spin it, you need to retrain your brain. And I know, hopefully this helps, because I went through this myself. When I first started throwing, I threw rotational only. That's it. That's all I threw. That's all I wanted to focus on at the time. I just had a mindset that I really wanted to get good at that before I branched out into the instinctive stuff. So I'd gotten really good at rotational throwing. And in the beginning, we tell someone, okay, we're going to try no spin. It's very, very difficult for them to not break their wrist. And that is the main thing when you first learn no spin. Not doing anything with your wrist. So in the beginning, this is how I throw now. Straight. My wrist is straight and my finger is straight with my forearm. But in the beginning, you want to teach people to bend your wrist backwards like this. And you're also going to grab the knife below or at the balance point. Now this knife here, it's got this little nub here. It kind of it's right in the way of where I want to put my finger, but I can put my finger on it or right below it. So usually what I do is put it just right below the nub, and that is behind the balance point. So if this knife was hanging free and there was no gravity, if I pushed it here, it would push behind the balance point and counter rotate. You're trying to retard the rotation. So if I was to push it up here, it pushes that way. Now if I was to push directly on the balance point, the knife would travel just like this. So here, here, and here, right? So what you want to do in the beginning is tilt your wrist backwards and just do a push throw. So in the beginning, because it's so hard to retrain your brain, if you can get the knife, obviously the object is to stick it perpendicular in the target or any angle at all. If you can get that knife to fly through the air sideways, that's good. If you can slap the target with the knife, let's go a little closer so you can see a little better. If you can slap the target with the knife flat, see, that's great. That's great because I am putting the correct counter rotation on the knife. Now, you'll have to experiment with different grips. Everybody likes different grips. There is a push throw, and I've been trying to show a lot of the women the push throw because that's how I learned, just to wrap my mind around how things work. The push throw is just like this. You put it on your fingers till it balances just like that, and then you just push it forward. That. I'm not sticking them, but you can kind of see the rotation, right? I got a fifth knife somewhere. So that's one grip. The other grip is open hand grip, where it's just between your finger right here. And these, your thumb and your pointer finger, are just there to hold it from falling out of your hand. Your fingertip is the only thing that matters. And, you know, overhand, sidearm, at an angle. Everybody's different. I don't teach a certain method. I'm giving you all the tools so you can figure out at home what works best for you. So that is the second grip. And keep in mind, there's a lot of different grips. A lot of people try, you know, use their middle finger instead of their pointer finger. I've seen a few people do that, and that works. So we got push method, which is a kind of a bow shuriken type, like this. Push. Try it again, get the stick. We got finger, open hand grip. Then there's another grip, closed hand grip. Now it does not work very well with a large knife like this. Your fingers are just kind of wrapped around, loose. Remember to keep that wrist bent backwards. So, yeah, it's just about keeping your wrist bent backwards. It's opposite of what you want to do with your wrist when throwing rotationally. So you just need to retrain your brain, and you know, hours and hours and hours and hours of that. Then you'll get to a point where you are bending your wrist back like this, and you can throw from 7 meters, and that knife is just slapping the target. That means you're doing too much pushing, right? And you need to back it off just a little bit. Now you can either stop pushing so much with your wrist bent backwards like this, or you can start to learn to straighten your wrist with your forearm. Now this is a much more advanced angle, but the better throwers, the people that you see are really good, professional, like people, you know, in Russia and Joel and Finland and all those guys, they straighten their wrist. This is tough, this close. Sorry. And I don't even hold these like this when I throw. But I'm so close it doesn't matter too much. So now that I've gone through all that, let me take a quick look here and see if anybody has any specific comments that I need to address. Hey Shane, Fast Action Blaze, how do you throw a knife? I was just thinking about you. A couple days ago, I found a bunch of my old notebooks I used to write a bunch of stuff down in, and I found a bunch of notes on a video that I never did, but I was talking about the community compilation video that you did. I need to go back and watch those again. Okay, good question here. Bow shuriken style. Bow shuriken, bow shuriken is like a totally different thing. You can throw knives bow shuriken style. You can, kind of like that push method I was showing you. But bow shuriken are just so small. It's almost like a different technique. And I'm not the best with bow shuriken, but I have trained with them quite a bit, and I need to practice a little bit. But we can get into that another time. And actually, I have a lot of friends that are really into bow shuriken right now. Bow shuriken are there's like fads in knife throwing that you see, and bow shurikens is up there right now. So I will address that again. Yo, Danger, have you ever considered trying to imitate other people's styles, like Tom, Joel, Lester Floor? It might be very useful to YouTube learners to see you break down, recreate their throws. one of the things that I really, really like about this sport, lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, hobby, is the individualness of it. Everybody's got their own style, little unique twist to everything. Now, of course, I've watched all of them throw, and that's how I taught myself how to throw, is watching other people and then going out in my backyard and just trying it over and over and over and over. But I don't want to throw like those guys. There are mechanics that I take from those guys, but I don't want to throw like anybody but me. And there are, the wave. I've been getting into the wave stuff recently. But throwing exactly like someone else. And there are the SCANF students, and they all learn from Mikhail, or I'm not sure if Olga is doing online courses, but everybody is trying to emulate Mikhail. And Mikhail was Yuri Fedin's first student outside of his daughter, and he's continued these SCANF teachings, whatever. And Mikhail throws a lot like Yuri, but there's still subtle little differences. He will never be exactly like Yuri, and that's fine. You can still get the same mechanics down, and the program that they have over there, the SCANF technique, it works, because I have friends that have taken the courses. I've got other fellow knife throwers that have taken the courses, and the people that stuck with the curriculum that really did what Mikhail said, they are excelling, and you can progress in a very short amount of time. And I'm not knocking those lessons, because it's obvious that they work. Anyone that is teaching a curriculum like that, they've kind of broken it down into what exactly works. Now, that's just not how I like to do things. I like to throw whenever I want to throw. And anyway, so yeah, I like to take things from certain people and see if it works for me. And, after all these years, I think it's paying off, How much does weight play a factor in my throwing? I see you use different styles of blades. Do you have a preference? Good question, man. That's a very good question. Yeah, it's a big factor, actually. And like I said before, there are a lot of trends, and it was probably 3-4 years ago, people figured out that really fat knives work really well, especially for beginners. Let me grab something. The EDC that I carry, the 1/2 inches of danger, it's really fat. I guess I just had it in my pocket, but this works really, really well, especially for keeping your finger on the spine. So, the knives, this is a short one. This is EDC, so it's shorter. But the knives 3 or 4 years ago were getting very thick and heavy. Now, since thick works really well for the finger, it also adds weight. Then Zetoon, the company from France, started figuring out, they started cutting out the Devil Claw Light. It has pieces taken out of the overall shape. So it still has the same thickness, but it's a much lighter knife. So that is excellent. And actually, I want a set of those knives to see how they work, because I believe lighter knives are better. They're quicker. They're easier to manipulate, in my opinion. They're easier to carry. There's just so much more advantages to a lighter knife. Now, not crazy light. You can't be having those really thin, cheap stainless ones, because you need some weight to be able to to learn. You know, it actually light stuff is very difficult to throw. Really small bow shuriken, really light stuff, it is difficult, especially anywhere past 5 meters with a light shuriken is very difficult. And hats off to you if you can throw one, because that takes an immense amount of skill. But here's another example. This is a bow shuriken, but it's got, you know, the knife tip. It's got the nice fat fuller on the spine. So this is kind of like a hybrid, but weight definitely doesn't have a lot of factor. Excuse me. Balance is another huge factor. Most people in the beginning, it's easier to throw handle heavy, for sure. Handle heavy is the best, especially if you're a push thrower, where you're kind of just lobbing them in. And lobbing them in, there's different, you know, there's combative stuff, you know, people that try to throw hard and fast, that's one thing, but that doesn't really work in competition. So lobbing the knife in a nice smooth arc, that is the way to be accurate. Well, I haven't thrown these in a while. Kind of lob it in. The harder you throw, the less your accuracy goes, the more your accuracy goes down, for sure. Let me go back here. Oh, my preference is knives that are 200 grams or below. I think my sweet spot's right about 170, 180. And, you know, it's just a smaller knife. I've kind of evolved over the years. I'm down to an 8.5-inch knife now, 1/4 inch thick. And you need at least a 1/4 inch to get a nice fuller on there. So your finger has more of just a nice place to put your finger so it doesn't slide one way off of the other. Okay, the different mechanics, okay. Yeah, man, I miss seeing videos from you, Shane. The Delta Defenders. Ooh, you'll have to remind me about that. That sounds funny, though, I remember. Thanks, John, appreciate it. Yes, the Full Tang Clan, that's me, yep. Your phone charger sucks, sorry, buddy. What kind do I recommend? Well, President Trump, let me tell you. Any knife that you can afford that gets you into the sport. I have many designs that I design and sell on delta2alpha.com. Use the code FullTangClan, capital F, capital T, capital C for 10% off. But any knife that gets you in, like there's a bunch of very, very good knives on Amazon right now. I mean, like when I first started throwing, you guys are fucking spoiled compared to, you know, like we didn't have shit. And now there's so much good stuff on Amazon. So I recommend trying stuff off Amazon first. I call all those knives gateway knives, because eventually you get those cheaper knives and they're fine, they're great. But I call them gateway knives because eventually, if you stick with the sport, you're going to want to get into the custom stuff. And that's where the knives that are designed by throwers are the best. You know, a lot of stuff on Amazon, they've either stolen their designs from the community, especially the knife throwing groups on Facebook, or they're just plain crap. I mean, you have companies like K-Bar, Spyderco, Cold Steel. Cold Steel's got some good stuff, and so does, they're just so-so, but they're just kind of knives that they throw out there. Like Smith & Wesson, you would think Smith & Wesson would have a knife designer that makes cool shit. None of the Smith & Wesson stuff is great. It's good. It's not great. Also, that depends on if you want to get into rotational or instinctive. You can throw any knife any way, but this long 14-inch knife isn't the best for no spin. You can do it for sure, but you need, like, all that weight is outside of my finger. So a more compact knife keeps that, all that weight, it's easier to manipulate. Do I find it easier to throw half spin with a handle heavy knife? Absolutely. Absolutely. The only knife design that I do not like is tip heavy. Now, I'm not in the, I'm in the majority here. There's not too many people that like tip heavy knives, but they are out there, and I think they're weirdos because it doesn't work for me. But handle heavy or center balanced. And by the way, while I'm on that topic, there is no such thing as a balanced throwing knife. That's a myth. It doesn't, like, well, you can throw that knife because it's balanced. That's not a thing. You can throw anything. Some are just easier than others. Do I have a gun? I do. Deltas were cheap shit knives that we both had. Garbage lightweight. Deltas, I don't remember, man. How do I maintain accuracy when stepping into a throw? Good question. I think of all the throws that I do when I'm stepping, just like throwing a baseball. If you played baseball or softball as a kid, or even football, you have an advantage over everybody else because you already have the mechanics down. It's just practice, dude. Standing still is much easier to be accurate with, especially with rotational throwing, in my opinion, because the less moving parts you have, easier it's going to be. So me stepping when I throw is probably not the best way that I could do it. It just feels natural, especially past 5 meters, man. It's really hard for me not to step. But the people that do throw real smooth with an arc, kind of lay them in there, BIM style, or even Amadou does it sometimes too when he's not throwing really hard, or Tom. It's just, less moving parts, better it is. Basically, the answer is throw a lot, dude. Throw a lot, you know. There's no substitute for practice. You need to practice every day. If you really want to get good at this and like take yourself, like go to competitions and stuff, you really need to practice every day. Even if it's only for 15, 20 minutes a day, that muscle memory goes a very, very long way. If you just want to do it for a hobby, you know, relax, get your mind off of things, then do it whenever you want. You have a broken back, dude? Damn, dude, you need to message me. Last nanoseconds adjusting. Keeping something in mind when throwing. Good question. That's a good question, man. So when you already have the knife in your hand, there's not a whole lot to think about. This is already here. All I have to do is wind up and throw, right? But when you're drawing from a sheath, then that's when you have to make split-second decisions, especially when throwing no spin, because if you don't have your finger on there just right or in the right position, the throw's not going to work, right? So fast draw, whether it's concealed or not concealed when I have a sheath on, you need to be able to make those split-second decisions in order to make the knife stick. And competition, it really puts the pressure on you. I used to do really well back when they used to have some competitions, you have your hand here, then you have to draw and throw. Or we used to do it like this and draw and throw. That was really tough because you're trying to be fast from here to grab your knife and throw fast. So that really made for a lot of instances where you gotta make split-second decisions, and experience comes in there clutch, because when you're grabbing your knife, like the fast draw we do now, we have our hands hovering, so my hand is already kind of in position, so I can grab then throw. But back when we used to do this, and some competitions still do that, it's difficult to grab the knife in the same place every time. You need to be able to index. Indexing. This is my fast draw knife here. Indexing is key. So If I grab all the way up here, that means the knife is going to spin slower. So I need to snap my wrist a little bit. And if I mess up and grab it way down here, it's going to spin faster. So I need to lean in more. Instead of throwing here, I got to lean in, or else the knife will over rotate and, you know, hit like this. So, and no spin's very similar, except there's no over and under. Well, there is over and under. It's just a different thing. Actually, it's very similar. It is. Knowing how to grab the knife quick and throw. Like I knew when as soon as I grabbed it, I was like, oh, I got it nice. I've practiced it enough that I know where my fingers got to be. So that one felt good. I didn't need to make a decision to adjust anyway. So I just kind of threw normally. Other times, if you don't have your hand all the way on the knife or whatever, you may have to make a split second, you know, stop right there to adjust to try to make the knife stick. Okay, let me grab a couple of these here, and I'll come and read some more comments. Let's see what we got here. Hit Doo-Doo. That's another company that there's, like I said, there's Throw Club, there's that one. There's so many people. People figured out that knife throwing is gaining popularity. So they're all trying to jump on the bandwagon and make their money. Don't trust a maker who doesn't throw. That's a very good thing to live by for sure. Cold Steel's probably the best for factory knives. Factory knives. Mass-produced knives, I would have to agree. I always recommend Cold Steel, Boker, and Condor. Condor also makes some pretty good stuff too. If I get my hair wet, I'll donate. Donate what? My sharpest knife, I have, oh man, I have katanas that are really, really sharp. Probably the sharpest knife I have right now is the Crusader Bowie, made by Pro Knife Thrower, Jason Johnson. It's insanely sharp. Stick around when it gets wider, or when it gets warmer out, I'll make some videos with that. What is WSP cam? Yep, delta-to-alpha.com, we'll find all that shit. What's the speed of my knife on my strongest throw? Good question. So radar guns do not work. If you see a guy posting videos to YouTube or anywhere else where they're using a radar gun, it's not accurate, because we've tried this many times. What it is actually picking up is the tip speed. So it's picking up this, not this. So my fastest throw, we've calculated it, 10 foot, length of the knife, weight of the knife, frames per second. We had it all written out. Ryan Moomaw was one of the OGs of no spin knife throwing. He did all the calculations. My fastest throw was about 44 to 46 miles an hour. The only person that we found that throws harder than me that we've calculated is Loic. Loic's just a fucking beast. I would assume Jason Johnson is right up there. He's a very hard thrower. BJ Lawrence is a hard thrower. Joel Halapanine is an excellent thrower. I'm sure there's a few Russian throwers. So we can calculate that. We just need some specific information. Length of knife, weight of knife, the exact distance, a marker from where you throw to the target, and frames per second. Frames per second is I think the most important thing. Yeah. All knives can be thrown. Butterfly knives, ugh, the more moving parts you have, the less durable they're going to be. Now, I have cold steel folders that hold up to a lot of throwing, but eventually they're going to break. Actually, I just got a brand new Ty-Lite. Actually, hold on. I want to show you guys this. This is the cold steel Ty-Lite. This is the one that I've had for, I think, about 6-7 years now. Took a beating, dude. Took a beating. And it finally, it's all played out. The thumb stud broke off. The liner is kind of bent. It does no longer locks up tight. It's still good. I can still use it for videos and whatnot. Oh, it's wet. Condensation. But these are excellent knives for throwing. See, it stuck, but the lock kept it, or it broke. So, yep, got a brand new one now. So, looking forward to using this for some more videos. But I found this on knifecenter.com for $60. So, that was a steal. I had to get one. So, if you're looking for one of these, it's kind of like a medium-sized pocket knife. Of course, we got the pocket sword. I don't throw that one. I have thrown it, but the handle shape is not good. I want to be good with hard and soft throws. I want my blade to be hot. I know exactly what you mean by it to be hot. It's a lot of friction, throwing a lot, pulling it in out of the target. It just comes down to practice, dude. Practice a lot. I think hard throwing is easier. And let me explain that a little bit. The harder I throw, the less time the knife has to deviate off of its path. So especially close. I mean, no spin is so easy from 10 foot now because I already know the trajectory of my finger, my wrist, and my forearm. Just got to be lined up. And all I have to do is get that knife there fast. It doesn't have time to turn one way or the other. Yeah, soft throwing, especially no spin for me, is very difficult. Just floating them in there. I'll do some push throws from back here. Ah, that was bad. Kind of lobbing them in, you know. It's a little gay, but you know, if you're going for accuracy, it's actually a really good way to throw, man. And hard throwing does not win tournaments. What's up, Lee? M-Tech 440 stainless multi-knife with Tanto tip. Hey, man, good. To each his own. There's no wrong way to throw a knife. If you're listening to me and you're like, you're an idiot, it doesn't work, keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen to me. Who cares? Don't let anybody say that you have to fucking throw a knife this way or that way. It's bullshit. Yeah, behind the head, I know. I've done that. When I was down there, I won fast draw. And then that was the year after that, Doc said, okay, you can't bring your own knives and throw them anymore. We all have to throw the same knife. So, sorry. Ramirez style. What's up, Ramirez? How's it going? Never tried the Boker ones. The Bokers are excellent, dude. The Bokers are just a fatter version of the Griffin. And the Griffin, in my opinion, is the best knife of all time. It's just my favorite, the most that I have clocked in thousands of hours on. I actually have one right here. I'll grab that for you and show you. They're an excellent knife. You can get 3 with a leather sheath for $60. They might be $10 more now because of inflation and whatnot, but it's just a super simple design. This is the Boker here, and this is the Bill Page Griffin. The ones that you saw me throwing a minute ago were Joe Dara Griffins. They both shared designs. One has holes in the handle for scales, one doesn't. But look at that. basically the same knife, right? This one's just a little bit wider. And that just comes down to personal preference on what you like. I like a little bit thinner knife, even though I have bigger hands. I just like, it fits in my hand a little better. This one's fine. It's just wider. Let me do a couple spin throws here. So I'm at 5 meters. This should be, ooh, condensation. This should be, well, it's 2 rotations. Ooh, bad throw, but stuck them. Do I have a Mapusi grinder? I do not. Yeah, Loic is a fucking beast, dude. Love that guy. I miss him. Walk away from the target randomly, turn around and throw. Helps with not thinking. I agree. That's an excellent way of learning instinctive throwing. Also, the other way of learning instinctive throwing is I'll throw and I'll stick one here. Back up a step or 2. Throw one, stick one there. Stick one there. That really helps figure out what you need to do with your finger. And then even better to train your brain is throw one here and throw one here. That's a big difference. And then even further. But my favorite distances to throw are 3, 5, and 7. Because those are the, those are tournament distances, but I have the most satisfaction throwing further. But it's like a big jump. So, taking small steps is not that big of a deal. So it's just a better training tool. .59, I don't think that's what Mumaw said, but I wouldn't doubt it. And it's weird how, I used to play baseball, and I'm pretty sure that I can throw a baseball way faster than 46 miles an hour. But it's weird how that doesn't transfer over. There is technique involved. Yeah, I wish we had a more, I trust Ryan's calculations, but I wish we had like definitive proof. Like if we had like a lab, and as a matter of fact, I would turn my shit, I would black out or white out the walls and checker them like the Mythbusters or whatever. I think that'd be really fun. And also I would like to see the calculation side by side with an accurate, radar gun, which Loic was telling me that there are some that are accurate and he's used them. So I just know the old traditional radar guns that you see people use, it doesn't work. Yeah, the Ty Light was a beast, dude. Thanks, Northbound Impalement. I appreciate it, man. Long live the knife. Metal Spork, yeah, no problem. Yeah, like I said, soft nose spin is fine. Depends on what you're wanting to do, Honestly, do I see this as a hobby, or do you see this as a form of self-defense, or is this a sport? That's a good question too. Let me address that real quick. It's all 3 of what you just said. I have always thought of this as a martial art or self-defense thing. I've always been into weapons and martial arts since I was a kid, so this kind of just went perfectly aligned with all that. But that being said, knife throwing is very difficult. I've dedicated the last 11 years of my life to this almost daily. And, a lot of people always say, never throw your knife away, or it's stupid to throw your knife away. Well, it is dumb to give your opponent a weapon, but there are circumstances in which that would be a good thing to do. And I'm not going to get into all those scenarios right now, but I believe that I can do it. A lot of the people that comment that stuff, maybe they can't because they haven't put the time in that I have. But it's definitely it's a sport. Definitely it's a hobby. Definitely you can use it for self-defense. There are several documented cases of people being killed with thrown knives. The most famous one is World War II. Skeeter Vaughn had an 87-foot bayonet throw that was witnessed, documented, and it killed the guy. Now, nothing is like the movies. People don't die from knives right away. But you can do it. If you Google it, there are several instances throughout the United States where people have been killed by thrown knives. So it's not a one-hit kill. This isn't a video game or anything like that. But the other thing a lot of people don't think about is blunt force trauma. If I'm throwing a big, heavy piece of steel at you, even if I don't hit you with the tip, it's still going to hurt. You might reevaluate your life for a minute and give me a chance to get away or close the distance or whatever. You know, I'm not trying to. Anyway, yes, sport, hobby, self-defense, martial art, and you know, it's more than a hobby for me. It's like a lifestyle, man. I bought this whole fucking place just to fucking teach knife throwing to you guys. Not nearly, but you know what I mean. You versus McNally. I know McNally. I talked to him. He's been trying to help me out with my videos. I'm down for that. He doesn't have a fucking chance, but I'm down for it, dude. Yeah, he'll whip my ass at social media and lockpicking, but I got him hands down with throwing. You know, he's a good dude. I like him. I've been trying to get him to come to Dangerfest. He almost came to Dangerfest last year. Throw something. Just a minute. Versus McNally. I'm going to tag him. You guys tag him. Send this to him or something. Thanks, Ramirez. I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, throwing the triangle. Yes. Yes, I have. Actually, I did a trick shot with it. That's how I met the guy. I know a guy that knows him. He called me and we talked on the phone, man. He's a good dude. He's killing it. I wish I had the subscribers that he did. Damn. 6 knives at once. Let's do it right now. Funny you should ask. I got the knives right here. We're going to go a little closer. Definitely can't do this very far, but I'm throwing 6 Griffins. They're all the same shape. One of them's a little heavier than the other. It doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is try to throw them push style that I showed you guys earlier, because I need to have contact with all of the knives. If you don't have proper contact with all the knives, one's going to go squirrely one way or the other. So this is going to be very impressive, but it's been a long time since I tried that. So someone that you guys probably don't know about, his name's Justin Cooper. We call him Outlaw. He threw, I think, 54 knives at once. It sounds like I'm lying, but it's on video. He's got a shitload of these. He stacked almost every knife he had. It was like a huge, he could barely hold on to it, but he stuck them all. It's on his YouTube channel, Outlaw Knife Thrower, OKT Films. Second try. See, it's whatever. It's not the easiest thing. Like I said, you got to have proper finger placement with all those. It's not a real person. It's a real person, but it's a cutout of a real person. That's one of my really good friends, the Blade Destroyer, Travis Deshawn. He lives in Florida. Bokas are sweet. Do 6 knives. Did it. McNally. Okay. All right. Met John Bailey. I know. I don't rub it in. I've never met him. I've been trying to. Sticky polished steel sucks. I agree. Chrome knives look cool, but man, if you get your hands damp, they can either be too sticky or too slick. So I like texture on my knives, or if they are going to be polished, I like them to be a satin polish. So there's a little bit of feel, a little bit of purchase. I have the same, but about half the size with movable weights. Does that mean I should be closer to my target? They're throwing knives that I try to use others to practice. So the knives, I know exactly the knives that you mean. Those are not great knives. That doesn't mean that you can't throw them, but I would put the knife, the weight closest to the middle as possible. And the general rule for knife throwing is it's about 2 meters per every half turn. So it starts at 2 meters, half spin, 1 spin, 3 meters. 1.5 spin, 4 meters. 2 spin, 5 meters. 2.5, 6. 3, 7. But that's for larger knives. And by the way, that's 7 foot, 10 foot, 13 foot, 16 foot, 19, so on and so forth. Meters and feet, they're real close. Most knife throwers use meters, especially in competition, because it's universal. Everybody in the world can kind of understand it. But smaller knives are more difficult to throw rotationally. And keep in mind, here's a real quick tip for rotational throwing. A perfect stick is perpendicular, right? Just like this. If your knife is like this or hitting like this, you're too close. If your knife is over-rotating like this, you're too far. So that's a way to dial in, but that's not a golden rule. It can also be how you're gripping the knife, how much you're following through. Are you snapping? There's a lot of factors that come into a good stick. Hopefully that helps. Throw a fork. That's easy. You see the man who throws a triangle? Yes, McNally, we love him. Yeah. Everybody seeing the man in the back? Indiana proud. Yeah, man, Hoosiers. A double ninja star like a circle. It didn't stick. It did stick. Go back and watch it. It just hit the very bottom of the target. Yeah, thanks, man. That video hit a million views today. It's pretty fun. Run me my money. Explain me the kunai and shuriken. Kunai, it's just Japanese style throwers. Let's walk you guys over here real quick. I think you guys would be interested in seeing this. So this is not organized or anything, but this is my this is all the throwers that I have that I throw on the regular. So, you know, I have a lot of knives that are inside that are too nice to keep out here because I don't want them rusting or whatever. But a kunai was a digging tool used by the Japanese, and then the ninja started using it. And kunai that you see in movies, they suck. So what we did is we designed a kunai that could be throwable. This is the Apex. This is one of my designs, available at deltadalpha.com. An excellent knife. And all it is it has a ring on the end. The ring that you usually see how this right here is smooth. There's nothing there to get in the way of my finger. A regular kunai, I'm not sure one's at right now, but a regular kunai has a big old ring on the end, and you don't want that ring there to get in the way. You need a smooth release. So any knife that has any kind of obstruction on the end, like the Cold Steel Gladius machete, oh, I hate that thing because it has that big pommel on the end, and a pommel is great if you're going to want to use it for battle, and so it doesn't fall out of your hand, but you do not want any obstruction on the end of your handle for throwing. But bow shuriken, sorry, I forgot to show you those. So yeah, bow shuriken are just little spikes. These are a bunch of different kind of bow shuriken here. Got the Matsubagata. We got these different like pyramid looking ones, dragonfly. These are all available on deltadalpha.com. We got regular little Mifu. I can't remember all the Japanese names. Sorry, guys. You know, we got round ones. We got shorter, fatter ones with a little bit different end on them. Then, of course, we got, you know, Shaken or, oh, what are these called? Hira or Senbon. Senbon. These are by Condor. These are pretty sick. These are great. Little guys right here. It's kind of a traditional style shuriken. The stars, they don't interest me as much as throwing knives. They don't have as much of a, just not as much, that is not difficult to throw. So I like a challenge more. But see what time we got. Holy shit, it's already been an hour. All right, let me cruise through. Let me cruise through a few more of these comments real quick. I appreciate all you guys watching this. Like I said, I'm going to be going live every week, usually Thursday at about 6 o'clock, just to do throwing and talking with you guys. But I will be doing more traditional teaching and stuff like this, like I did in the beginning of the video, and hopefully it helps you guys. But the Magnificent Seven Challenge, hell yeah. Danger versus McNally. Oh, I think he would. I was actually thinking about hitting him up for a little collaboration or something. I think that'd be fun. What's up, Greg? Sorry, there's so many comments here. It's hard to keep up. You'd like to see me throw something super lightweight? All right, I'll do that real quick. Longest distance throw, I had the world record for about 5 minutes back in 2016 at the World Championship in Austin. My throw was like 68 foot, 6 inches. And that's not the craziest throw, but doing it in a competition in front of people is totally different than just going out in your backyard and chucking them and seeing how far you can get. But I can throw about 130, 140 feet. My favorite throw, oh man, I would love to go through here and answer all these questions, guys. I really would, but I promised my girlfriend I'd only do this for about an hour. So I promised to get you guys the next one. Ask me questions again, but Ryan, someone that I respect, he's an excellent bow shuriken thrower. So I'm going to do my last throws here. With my lightest bow shuriken. These are 7 inches, about a 1/4 inch thick, probably more like 6 mil. I don't remember what they weigh. And like I said, I'm rusty with bow shuriken, but I did put some time in a few years ago, so it comes back to me pretty quick. This is my grip right here. Traditionally, they throw like this, straight over the top, and I'm not a traditional type person, so I throw more the way I throw. Hey, that wasn't too bad. That was about 4 meters. Had a pretty wild one here, but I had a couple bullseyes there, and then there's the rest of the knives. So, yeah, if you guys are watching, I'd really appreciate subscribe if you can. Been doing this a very long time. Never gotten too much love off of YouTube. Go through, watch a lot of my other videos. I have probably 500 videos on here at least, all knife throwing and bladed edge weapons. Related stuff. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. It's been fun. I've really been enjoying myself doing YouTube live. This has been cool. So thanks for watching, everybody. Peace. Danger out.